Hello folks, Double Tap here. Now, about a week ago, just over, I put a question, and the question was if you had any questions that you wanted to ask me. I'm only a beginner. I've been homebrewing now for roughly, I'd say eight months, give or take, something like that. And I did put it on there to do a Q&A. One of the subscribers said to me, why don't you do it as a beginner's Q&A, from a beginner to beginners? And I thought, you know what, you're 100% right, mate. So I changed the title and stuff like that. Here we are today. I've printed off every one of the questions that was asked. I haven't left any out. There might be more on now because I did put a message on saying that I was making the video and I'd answer the questions, but it'd be on there, not on the video. Right then, I've got myself a pint. I've got myself a couple of little things down here, and I think we'll start off with a little slurp. So cheers folks. And this is that Burton Forex bitter. I mean, look at that. I poured that about 15 minutes ago because I was doing a beer review on this one, the 6-month beer review. Look at the legs on that. Head retention, absolutely fantastic. If you went in that review, have a little look folks. Right then, so let's get into it. Questions. Right then, this one's from Chris Johnson. So, hey Double Tap, 3 questions. How many homebrew kits have you made? Have any turned out not very good? If so, what did you learn to do differently? Right then, I've done 8 homebrew kits now, and I've also made 1 load of wine, which was the Ribena wine. The one that didn't turn out very nice, without a doubt, is the Geordie Winter Warmer. I was so disappointed with that kit. It promised a lot. It was a limited edition. It was a winter warmer, so you're thinking this is going to be proper nice. It wasn't. It was like really weak brown tap water. The flavours were almost non-existent. It just wasn't good at all. I've had a look on different forums about it and people have come out with the same thing. It's really lacking, it's really weak. People are doing a 2-can kit on it and getting better results. Me personally, I wouldn't waste my money on it. I'll never buy it again. If it was given to me free, I'd be very apprehensive whether I'd made it or not. I really would. It just weren't good. It weren't good. And the last part, what did you learn to do differently? Well, what I tend to do is, it isn't being different, it's mixing up the recipe and trying new things. Don't just stick to the can, sugar, malt. Do you know what I mean? I had different sugars like this one. We get it out of the cupboard if I can find the bloody thing. Okay. I use that Billington's dark brown sugar, and it's a natural unrefined cane sugar. The taste and flavours in this are unbelievable. They're so nice. They're fantastic. Honey, stuff like that, but it don't really add to the flavour. I think it's giving it a bigger ABV, sugar, stuff like that, you know, so it's just turning it into alcohol. But that's what I do differently. I'm experimenting with different hops and stuff. Right then, John Davies. Okay, hi mate, made the Wilco Golden Ale, looks very clear. Added 2 carbonation drops to each bottle, but it has no head. Okay. Right, I mean, all I can say with that one is, because I don't know how long it's been in the bottle before you've tried it from the fermentation stage. But what I think is, the longer you leave it, the better the head's going to be on it. But I mean, okay, it's alright, I'll put certain things down for each one, but I'm adding loads of stuff to the answers anyway. The carbonation will aid in the head and the head retention. Me personally, I'd go with a beer enhancer too. We made one ourselves. They're pretty cheap to make, and you know, they're not hard. It's really easy. Watch the video, and there goes my phone, and watch the video, and you'll see for yourself, and there it goes again. You'll see for yourself just how easy it is to make. You could also, if you didn't want to make that, you could add a malted extra. That'll aid in the body, head retention, and it'll be an all-round better pint. But what I will say is the malt will add that anyway, and it'll do that if you add a spray malt. And also, I'd leave it longer. It's the same old story. The longer you leave it, the better it's going to get. There's no two ways about it, man. Right then, we've got Arcade Mad. Can I use granulated sugar instead of brewing sugar? How do I know when all the sugar has been converted to alcohol? And how do I read and interpret the hydrometer? I had loads of trouble with the hydrometer at first. I went on loads of things, watched videos on YouTube, and it was a bit of a mission getting there, but I got there in the end. You can use whatever sugars you want to. Just normal granulated sugar, you know, your silver spoon stuff, carbonation drops, but they work out really expensive. I've also used this in the pressure barrel as well as bottles. I'm talking about both things here. Some people say that you get a bad taste and it doesn't turn out as well and all that lot. I've not had that experience myself, and all of my answers in this are my personal ones, not ones that I've read or written, you know, stuff like that. So you might have a difference of opinion, and that's fair enough. I don't mind. That's the way the world works. I'm talking about what works for me and what I've tried. I would try, if I was you, the different sugars, and I would also try what works best for you. That's all you can do, mate. But I ain't had no problems with it, none whatsoever. As for the hydrometer, it's so easy, it's unbelievable. Okay, so I use one of these turkey basters, got that from Wilko, I think it cost about £1. Dip it in your beer, stick your beer in there, get it up to a nice size in your trial jar, and then you'll float your hydrometer inside it. Now, there are different scales and there are different hydrometers. I've got 3 hydrometers. The one I prefer using is the Munton's one. It's the first one I ever used. It's the easiest one I've used out of all of the ones I've got. I'm happy with it, so I've stuck with it. You'll then get a reading, so say for instance it's 1.040 on there, when that's your original gravity that you take when you make the beer before you add the yeast. Then once it's fermented, once it stops bubbling, leave it a couple of days, then do a test over 2 to 3 days, exactly the same way, and you'll come up with your final gravity, which might then have gone from 40 to 1.10, do you know what I mean? Then you'll know what the ABV of the beer is. I mean, there are videos on YouTube, I'd watch them, and there's nothing like trying it yourself. I then go on to a website which just calculates from the readings that you type in what the ABV is, and then that's what you come up with your percentage. It is hard at first. I had trouble with it myself, and I think if people admit it, they'll all admit the same thing. But there you go. It ain't hard, mate. Keep at it, you'll get it. It ain't a problem. Right then, time for a slurp. Okay, next one. This is Arcade Mad again. Does homebrewing beer taste like shop brought beer? How does the price of homebrewing beer compared to shop brought? Right then, it all comes down to your personal taste. I don't like lager, I don't like pilsners. That's why most of the beers I make are bitter, stout, porter, all around that type of beer, real ales, that sort of thing. How I would compare them to shop and pub beers, as I'd say they're just as good, if not better. And that's quite a big statement, for the simple reason I think my ones are good and better because I know what's going in them and what's not going in them. I don't put any artificial colours, no artificial sweetness. It's the stuff that's going in is natural ingredients. I don't put any preservatives in there, so the beer isn't sitting on a shelf or in a factory or a warehouse for, you know, 6 to 8, 10 months, a year. Who knows how long some of the stuff's there. That's why it's all got a use by date. But I would say, price wise, it's a no-brainer not to do your own beers. That pint has cost me 40 pence. There's nowhere in the country you can go where you're getting a pint for 40 pence. You ain't getting it out of the pub, I know that much, and you're not getting it out of the supermarket. My favourite beer in the world is Bass. I love it. If I could make this as a homebrew, I'd make this. I'd have batches and batches of the stuff. I've got 140 pints of beer in them cupboards and the ones down there. If I could make this stuff, that's what I'd be making all the time. My homebrew channel would go to shit because that's all I'd be making. It's my favourite pint. That's £1.05. The cheapest I've ever seen it is £1. 40 pence, like that one cost. It's madness not to be making your own beer. When I first tasted homebrew, which was 20 plus years ago, the bloke that was making it had been making it for years. It was like a very weak light brown tap water, and that's what it tasted like. It had no strength to it, no flavour whatsoever. I tasted it and thought, this is unbelievably shit. It's absolutely crap. Why does anybody make it? But 20 years on, I'm now making it myself and I'm loving it. I am absolutely loving it. It's one of the best things I've ever done in my life. I don't drink that much, but when I do, I like to taste the beer, and this stuff is very good, very, very good. Right then, I've got to crack on because I'm going to be stood here for about 3 hours, waffling on. Right then, we've got Count Drunkula, long time subscriber, great fella, he's got his own channel, check him out, and he's good to talk to, does some great videos. Here's his questions. Right, and he's done 4 here, so we'll just go through them one at a time. What's the best review, excuse me, from your friends, family have given you for your homebrew? I've got a family member who's got diverticulitis, which is like a stomach problem where you're going to the toilet quite a lot. And I've given them over the last 8 months beer every week. Not that they drink lots of beer, because they don't. And the feedback I've got from them is it 100% settles the stomach, and they don't have any problems with going to the loo constantly and stuff like that. So that's one really good thing. Another good one was the wine that I did. Nobody believed. I gave all of that wine away except a bottle which I drank myself. Nobody could believe that I made that myself, because it was that nice. And this was coming from people that don't drink red wine, or when they've had red wine in the past, it's given them a blinding headache or a proper bad hangover the next day. There was no hangovers with it. It was all good. So, pretty good reviews there. What's the worst review your friends, family have given you homebrew? Not really had bad ones. My family are the type of people, and I come from a large family on both sides. If stuff's shit, they're going to tell you about it, and you're going to know about it. But I've not had any bad reviews. Some of them have said that with the more recent batches that I've done, the ABV and the percentage is quite high, so they can only have a couple of them, else they're getting pissed basically, because they're not big drinkers. But not really had any bad ones, to be fair. And I've sent them out to other people as well, other home brewers and stuff like that, and I've not had any bad feedback. So, what's the most homebrew you've drunk in one go, and how battered did you get? I tell you, I done. It was the Sweet Nuki Brown, and at the time I did the Dark Velvet Stout as well. I filled that beer fridge on the top rack and the bottom rack with beer, and I think I drank 18 pints, and I was pissed out of my head. I don't think I drank all the 18 pints from what I don't remember a lot about it, but I was absolutely spannered. I mean, I was bad, really bad. And I'm not talking about just in the course of a few hours. I was started off in the back garden with friends having a barbecue and stuff like that, so it went slowly through the day. Then the night time come, and a couple of the lads stayed around, and the music started playing, and we was having a game of darts and stuff like that. And then the early hours come when you're pissed out of your head, and it's time for bed after you've raided the fridge and cooked God knows what. But the next day, oh my God, I hadn't drank like that in years, man, absolutely years. But the drinks went down so well. Everybody loved them, maybe because they were free, but I like to think because they were nice drinks. But I was battered. Man, and I paid for it the next day. Have you ever done some stupid, cringy, lame, funny brewing in the early days that you think, oh my God, what was I like? I've done loads, mate, absolutely loads. If you haven't watched the bloopers video that I put on the YouTube channel, have a look. It's in the homebrewing section, and watch that, because there's tons, absolutely tons of me messing stuff up. Check it out. It's quite funny. I watch it even now when I'm doing nothing. It's good. It ain't bad. Right, I'm going to take a little break here, and we'll be right back for part 2. Right then, and we're back for part 2. So, Pete SOS. What are some things that you worried about that turned out to be no problem? He's done a few ones here. So, the things that I worried about, I learned quite quick, because I was making so many beers at any one time. simply because of how long it takes for the beers from the bottle to the fridge into my glass. I was worried about bottles and stuff like that. I'm not worried about it anymore. I've always got a massive supply of bottles and I get them all the time. But other than that, you're not sure just how the first batch is going to turn out, and I think that's what puts a lot of people off home brewing, because it isn't like going to a pub. The stuff's there, it's all made, you can order it at your leisure. It ain't like going to a supermarket. There's hundreds of different bottles, loads of different beers. With home brewing, it's a time thing. So you have to be consistent with your timing. Once one beer's done, the next one's brewing, the other one's being bottled. It's all consistency, so you've got that flowing rate. Once you've got that down to a fine art, it's all good, mate. Okay, what are some things you didn't worry about that turned out to be a real problem? Storage is the only one that comes to mind. When I first started homebrewing, I was in a 4-bedroom property. I sold that, moved to another one, and now I'm currently at this one. This is a 2-bedroom. There's loads of room, but it always comes down to storage and where the stuff's going, things like that. And that's all I can put that one down to. What are some good resources, i.e. forums, etc., that you look at? The best things to go for with that, which I tend to go for, are the homebrew forums. There's loads of them. Not going to name any particular ones, but there's some fantastic advice. There's tons and tons of recipes. Any beer that you could ever think of making, they're out there. There's also, for people that make the beers from grains and things like that, there's full recipes for them. Another excellent reference point is YouTube. There's no two ways about it. It makes things so much easier when you see someone else doing it, and you can go back and have a look again. And any problems, stick it in the comments. Most people, especially for home brewing and that, they'll always answer you. That's what I do. Right then, hold on, let's have a slurp. Look at the legs on that, man. Oh, lovely. Right then, Nigel Lockyer. I'd like to know, do you use granulated sugar or substitute it for DME or brewing sugar? Okay, I do use brewing sugar. I use every type of sugar. All depends what I've got, and it all depends on what I feel like using and doing with it. I use all sorts. I don't see any difference in it whatsoever. I've not seen any difference anyway. The only difference that I have noticed is the prices. Right, do you use the yeast provided or try different ones? I have on one occasion when it was a specific yeast for the beer, and I can't remember what beer it was, but I always go for the traditional ale yeast that Wilco sells, which is I can't remember what it's bloody called. I can't remember what it's called now, but that's what yeast I always go with. I've never had any problems with it. It's always activated within a couple of hours of it being put in the beer, and I've always had good results with it, so that's the one I use. Most advice says you don't open the FV until fermentation has stopped, but how can you check the SG, I think you mean the final gravity, if you don't open it? I open mine. What I tend to do is, say if that's the fermenter, I'll make sure there's no breezes coming through the house. I'll also make sure the cat and dog isn't in the room, because hairs will come off them even if they're just moving around. all I do is flip the lid like that, get my baster in, straight in the tester, that's all I do, then seal it back up. There's no way you can test it unless you've got it, say, in a barrel type fermenter with a tap on it or something. That's the only way you can do it, but that's what I do anyway. Lastly, when everything is sanitised, how long will it stay that way before you use it? What I tend to do is, when I've made a batch of beer up, it will come out the fermenter. I will then take it in the bathroom, I'll clean it all out with the shower and a little sponge or something like that, which I don't use for washing up or anything else. Then what I'll do is make a batch of Starstar and put it in there. I'll clean everything with that, then I just pack everything away. I've got those little tub type stuffs. Now you could put half of that full of Starstar and just leave it in there till you want to use it, obviously with the lid closed. But then what I do is, before I use everything again, even though it's all been cleaned and sterilised, because I'm sterilising the bottles anyway for the second or third time, I'll then re-sterilise and use the Starstar with whatever I'm using that day. So it's a constant cleaning cycle, and it might seem like a bit of a ball ache, but it isn't. You get that used to it, it becomes second nature. Right then, TW. What is the difference between beer enhancer and dry sprayed malt when added to a 1 can beer kit? Right then, so the beer enhancer we made, it adds body, flavour, head retention, because you have ingredients like maltodextrin, dextrose, spray malt, things like that. It'll also add flavour, it'll also add to the ABV. Spray malt, because it's just 100% powdered malt, it'll add to the flavour, it'll add to the body, it'll enhance the ABV. Most people use it as a substitute for sugar if they want a lighter volume beer, say for instance. Some people will add sugar as well as the spray malt and as well as a beer enhancer. There's not much difference in either of them when adding to a beer, except the end results. Maybe the flavour, maybe the ABV as well. But the malt will add to a more tasting beer. Also, there's different types of spray malt. You've got light, medium, dark, extra dark. It all depends what beer you're making as to what spray malt you'd use. I've used light and medium spray malts on a stout and not seen any difference. I've also used dark and extra dark and not seen much difference. There probably is, there must be, but I think with the lighter beers like a lager, a pilsner, a cider, you know, I've got an itch on my back of my ankle and stuff like that, then you'd go with the lighter spray malts. For the darker beers, the darker spray malts. Right then, Count Druncula. What's the best ever beer you've had? Okay, there's two answers for that. The best shop brought beer or pub brought beer that I've ever had, without a doubt, is my favourite beer, and that's Bass. It's my all-time favourite. I don't think that'll ever change. And second part of the answer is the best homebrew beer I've ever made that I really, really liked was the Wilco Sweet Nuki Brown. Anyone who watches the channel, they know that anyway. But that was a fantastic pint, that was. someone asked me the other day what my plans for the next beer that I make is, and my plans are a 2-can kit of the Sweet Nuki Brown. It's my ultimate favourite for home brewing. Other than that, when I go to the supermarket, I can have hundreds of bottles of beers. I'll always buy Bass because it's cheap, it's my favourite beer, I love it, I always buy it, even though I've got tons in the cupboard. So right then. This is MMOIMC, amateur radio channel. I'm going to be trying Starstar sanitizer shortly. How does it compare to the Milton steriliser liquids or tabs in your opinion? I've used the sterilising chlorine based tablets and liquids since I started in August 2015 and never rinsed out afterwards. There's only been 1 or 2 brews that tasted medical out of dozens and dozens of kits brewed, and they were at my mate's setup where I had no input in the brews. I've got various stuff here. We've got the the VWP cleaner and steriliser. We've got the Young's steriliser and cleaner. We've got the Milton tablets, and we've got the good old Starstar. This one's almost gone. I've got another 3 in there. There's certain things I don't like about these two, and let me show you about these, and that is them being like a chlorine bleach based sanitizer. I hate the smell of bleach, and I've been to others before and their fermenters, when you open them, it's all you can smell. Even though they've been cleaned and rinsed God knows how many times, you can smell it. I hate the stuff. I've got these have been in the cupboard since I started homebrewing and I've never used them. I don't plan on using them. I'm not bad mouthing the product. What I'm saying is I don't like the smell and that it comes off. You might have used them 1,000 times and had brilliant results, never a problem with them. Me personally, I don't think I'm ever going to use them for the reasons why I just said. The Milton tablets, what I do is, if I'm going to be leaving anything, I'll do my beer. Once it's fermented out, I'll bottle it, I'll clean the fermenter, I'll put some water in, it's 1 tablet per 5 litres, and I'll just let it sit there, and it can sit there and sit there and sit there. That's what I do with this. But after I've done that, before I'm using anything, when I'm doing my bottles or anything like that, I always turn to the Starstar. I've never had a problem with this product, ever. I use it all the time for everything. A lot of it'll get wasted and tipped away because you don't need to use it or there's nowhere to store it, but I always turn to the Starstar. If I'm doing summer and it'll be a few days later, I'll fill the fermenter up with the Milton stuff and just let it sit there. Once it's emptied out and I'm using the stuff, I'll clean everything with the Starstar anyway. It's a personal preference that I'm turning to here, but it's what I've done since day one, and I think I'll continue that regime. And that's all you can do. You've got to go with what you're happy with, really. Right then, folks, that is all of the questions. I will add a couple of things. A couple of people have asked where I get my bottles from, or where to get them from, because when you first start off, it can be a big problem. I don't personally like the PET bottles. I've never been a fan of plastic bottles. I've got nothing against them. just don't like them. What I do is, where I live, we've got a thing for people recycling bottles and stuff like that. I went down there earlier to put some rubbish out, and there was like 15-20 bottles in there, so I took them all out. I've brought them back here, I've cleaned them all, I've rinsed them all, I'll de-label them, and when it comes to brewing, they'll be fully sanitised. I'll do them all in boiling hot water as well, then fully sanitise them with the Starstar. I ain't got a problem with that whatsoever. I'll go rolling around in that bin, no bother, for 3 bottles all day. Also, another thing that I did, there's a couple of local pubs around here. I popped into them, had a couple of pints, started speaking with the people in there, and I said to them, do you ever have bottles that I can collect? I told them what I do. One of them looked at me as if I was mental. The other one said, yeah, no problem, mate. Told me what day the bottles were collected. So I go there the day before, but what I will say is I've got boxes full of brown beer, full of brown, clear, Grolsch, all of that lot in the spare room, so I don't need to go there no more. I must have 200 or so just sitting in the boxes, ready to be used. But that's what I did. You only need one pub to say, yeah, pop round, mate, and have a rummage through, get what you want. That's all you need to do. That's what I do. And stuff it, because people sell them on eBay and they're not cheap. If you go to Wilco's, they sell them, they're still not cheap. And if you can get it for free, there's nothing cheaper than free. So give it a go, folks. Right then, I think I'm going to leave it there, because I've been babbling on for at least a good half hour. It must be, it feels like it anyway. What I would like to say is thank every one of you that have commented. I'd like to thank all of you that have liked the video and watched the video. It's turned it into a video not just about me and the channel, but about you also, which is a really good thing. I like to get people involved in what we're doing here. I don't pretend to know everything, because I don't. Very far from it. There's a lot of channels where they've got vast amounts of information. This one is just from a beginner's point of view, folks. So, you know, nobody's right about 100% of the time. So, you know what I mean. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed it, folks. Leave your comments, give us a thumbs up if you did, and I'll catch you in the next episode. I'm Double Tap, and bye for now. Cheers. Lovely jubbler.